Welcome to soaps.com. I'm Kristen Bird. We have Dancing with the Stars Pro. I'm going to say she's on hiatus for right now. We're going to put it out there,
I
but
love
so
it.
excited to welcome Lindsay Arnold.
I am so excited to be chatting with you today. This is like so fun. I feel like we go so far back to So You Think You Can Dance Day. So I'm so excited to be chatting with you. This is super fun.
We go back to 2013. So over a decade
Crazy.
has gone by, which is
That is
crazy.
crazy.
And is it okay to say that you're on hiatus as of Dancing with the Stars Pro? I don't feel like you're done.
Honestly, I love that word. That is a great word because it's, it doesn't have like a specific end date, but it's definitely open. And that's very much how I feel. I'm loving the time that I have right now being a mom and exploring new things. But that show, Dancing with the Stars, will always be a part of my life, even more so now that Riley's on. But no, I will never say that door is completely closed. And I'm excited to see what the future holds with it.
Yeah, all season long, I've been hoping, I'm just going to tell you what I've been hoping for. And I know it's not going to happen because we're now like heading right into the semifinals and then into the finals. But I was like, bring trios back.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then, right? Steven, Rylee, Lindsay. It's perfect.
I'm not gonna lie, that was hoped for, that was potentially asked for. Unfortunately, it just didn't work, but I miss trios so much. That is something that I really hope we see back on the show. I just remember like when I was on the show, Trio Week was always one of my favorites of the competition. I just think it brings such a fun element. So I do wish that those would come back. And of course, if it does come back, I'm like, count me in. I would do it 100%, but I really
Yeah,
hope
you're
we
like,
do
I'm
that again.
there. Well, and also I was like with the Sosas, I just feel like there's like such a cool opportunity to have these like generations of
I know.
pros and siblings. And I don't know,
It
I
really
think
is
it's,
so crazy how intertwined everybody is, like literally related, intertwined, and then just all the connections. It's pretty cool.
well, I'd love to know from you, what do you think? Like going back to your first year of Dancing with the Stars, what do you think are some of the changes that you've seen? Like, what are the major changes that you're like, I can't believe in 2024 they're doing this because we were never doing that in 2013.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so many things, like so many things, which is expected and which is so awesome. Like, that's the reason that the show is still here is because the show has adapted every step of the way. They see what the audience wants, they respond to it, they adapt. I think what's just blowing my mind and what is so cool right now about the show is the social media aspect. When I first joined Dance with the Stars, yes, social media was there, but it was nothing like it was now. And even my last season on the show, which was only a couple years ago, that was not what it is now. And I think it's so cool how the show, how the pros have adapted to what our world is about right now. And I believe that's what's aiding to the success of the show and why it's still around and why everybody is talking about it this season, which is so cool to see.
I know I love seeing the fresh chapter and new generations, and it's very exciting. But everyone has an opinion now, which is crazy because you have the opinions of like the veterans who've been around since 2005, like fans watching the show, and then you have the new generation, and
Yeah.
they've got their opinion. The discourse over dance training. I would love to hear this from you because you've had a contestant like Jordan Fisher who was
Yeah.
very well trained and could do everything, which reminds me of what Chandler is dealing with this season.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It's nothing new. We've always had it. I can't think of one season where there wasn't at least one contestant who has dance experience. And I personally am all for it. I love it. I think the journey, the levels, the different levels to start out with is so cool. And at the end of the day, we have to remember that just as much as the dancing portion is important, so is the voting. So just because you have that dance experience under your belt doesn't mean that you're a shoo-in to win. For example, I got second place with David Ross, who was arguably one of my least talented dancers, but it just shows that yes, it can give you a leg up, but it also doesn't mean that that's all you need. You need so much with this show. You need people to fall in love with you. You need to show growth, show a journey. For example, like in my season with Jordan Fisher, it was so nice that he was a good dancer to start, but that also is kind of stressful because when you start at a certain level, you have to either maintain that or get higher and higher and show growth. So in a way, there is sometimes a disadvantage because you have to show and worry about a different aspect. But I'm all for it. I think there's nothing wrong with it. I know people get upset and they think that it's unfair, but at the same time, it's how it's always been. And I think at the end of the day, that's why the audience vote is there so that you can pick your favorites, regardless of if they have experience or if they don't.
What would you advise Brandon? Because I know you've known him for a long time, and Chandler at this point. Because you talk about the stress level. I mean,
Yeah.
we know now we're going into the last 2 weeks of the show. How do you think they should handle at least rehearsals and like approaching the next 2 weeks?
To be completely honest, I think they need to just keep their head down and keep doing exactly what they're doing. I think with this new age that we're in, I never had to deal with this kind of social media presence when I was on the show. Like I said, this is so new. Everyone's going to have their opinion. Everyone's going to weigh in on their 2 cents. The truth is, nobody knows except for the professional and the celebrity what goes on behind the scenes, what goes on in the rehearsal studio. So just keep your head down, focus on your work, do the best you can, and the rest is truly out of your hands. I mean, that's what I've given my advice. Like the advice I've given to Rylee since day one is just focus on you and your partner. All the outside noise is just noise. So don't let it get to you. Don't let it sway anything. Do what feels right for you. So that's the advice that I'd give them.
I love that. You know, you have Rylee in her second season as pro. What has impressed you the most about your sister? Because I just feel you went in really young to this show. She went in really young, no troop experience either. So
Yeah.
this is a really big thing to handle and get your hands on.
To be honest, that is what has surprised me and impressed me the most about Rylee. She is so young, and what I think is so cool is people forget that because of the way she handles herself, because of the situation she gets put in, and the grace that she shows through all of it. She has handled so many things as all pros do, and I just love the fact that throughout all of it, she's remained true to herself. She's been genuine. She's really gained this awesome community of people who love her and support her, which I think is so cool. And I think it just is a testament to her being herself through everything. No matter what everybody else is saying, she's going to stay true to herself and do the work. And she has. I think what she's done with Steven this season has been so cool. I think people expect gymnasts to be good and kind of expect perfection out of them. And with Steven being the first male gymnast this season, you really didn't know what you were going to expect out of him. And I just love the journey they've had, the friendship they've had. And I just think it's cool because I'm like, she's acting as if a pro. She's acting like I was like 10 season in, and it's only her second season. And I love to see it.
She's so unflappable. I always just see her walking around like not a care in the world. And I'm like, I wish
No,
I was like that.
she
I
really handles the stress and handles all the things so well, and that's the key, honestly. As a pro, it's very much just navigating through all the craziness, staying calm, and doing the work, and she's done a really good job of that.
How much does she rely on you? Are you like after they've gotten the dance set, are you watching on FaceTime going, let's just clean that up or anything? Does she come to you or is she relying on you less this season?
She always comes to me, but I also am like, send me videos. So I don't think I could ever let her not send me videos. And it's the funnest thing ever because I love the check-ins after the rehearsal. Like obviously when she's at rehearsal, she's doing her thing. I'm home in Utah being mom, but I love the videos I get as soon as they're done. I love to give her notes. One thing about Rylee is there's a 12-year difference between us. And I feel like she maybe is one of my only sisters that like actually listens and wants to come to me for advice just because we have that huge gap. So it is so fun that she reaches out to me and wants my opinion, but it's also been really cool to see her lean on her own and just be like, you got this, girl. And really just leaning into those instincts as a pro. Because the truth is, nobody knows how to handle situations with a partner except for that pro, because they're the ones who know every little detail about their partner. So it's been really cool to watch her gain all this confidence in her own lane as a pro. And I love to see it.
And what a superstar. I was
She's
like, if she wants to move to LA
amazing.
full time, I'm telling you, Hollywood would be all over it.
I know. And what's so cool is she's at the perfect stage of her life where everything is just truly beginning for her. And I'm so excited to see where that takes her.
Just to mention a couple of the other contestants too, you know, we've got Ilona and we've got Danny and Joey. What are your thoughts on those three too? Because I feel like this is a tight competition where a lot of fan bases are actively voting. We've had record-breaking numbers this season,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like anything is a guarantee. Like, oh, this person's guaranteed to win. I think there could even be a surprise at the rate we're going.
I fully agree. I think this is such a cool season because literally I feel like each celebrity that's left in the competition has had a week where it was like, whoa, I think they could take it. Whether that was from their dance, whether that was from the personality, whether it's from like the audience response. Like, I think honestly, this is probably one of the first seasons where I really, really don't know what could happen. And I feel like it could change every single week. Like, I feel like at the end of every week, we have kind of a new front runner, which I love. I love to see that. I think it's so cool. I also think it's so cool that with the 5 couples we have left, I don't feel like there is one where it's kind of like, "Oh, how are they still here?" Like, all of them, I'm like, "Oh, they deserve it. They've earned it. They've proven themselves, and people love them." They all have their own individual fan bases that just are diehard fans for them, and it's so cool to see. So I'm right there with you. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Obviously, you know who I want to have happen, but
Of
it's
course.
like, I really, like, I don't know, and it's so cool that we're in that position, I think. I think it's really fun and exciting.
With having Rylee on the show, does it bring you back to some of those moments like where maybe you've choreographed a routine that just felt impossible until it all came together? Like, do you go back and sort of reminisce about those situations?
Oh, all the time. All the time. I think what's so crazy about the show is the fact that, like, it's going to happen no matter what, and I can't even tell you how many weeks I was in the middle of it being like, "I absolutely do not think this is gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna be able to do this. Like, it's not gonna work," and every time it happens, and that's been something that I feel like when Rylee comes to me stressed, worried, or maybe things aren't going well, it's like, kinda that reminder of like, "Rylee, it's going to happen, it's gonna work out, so just keep pushing through." Having that perspective is something that I had to learn over the seasons because truly there are times where you just feel like there's no way we're gonna make it through this week, but it always works out.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. I was just thinking, of course, I remember your win with Jordan Fisher. It was, I think, the last time we had the Grove.
Yes. Yes,
Yes,
it
I
was.
think that
Oh,
was
that
the
was
last
so
season.
fun.
It
That
was
was
so
so fun.
fun. So it's like that freestyle like really stands out in my mind, but also like David Ross stands out in my mind too because it was so clever and just leaned into who he was. And I think you guys were just so thrilled to be there because we were like, well, look at that. Like a
Yeah.
personality really can rise to the top. We've seen it with Bobby Bones too. His fan
Yeah.
base, obviously
Yep.
catapulted him to the win.
Yeah. I will never, ever forget standing in the finale with David Ross next to Rashad and Emma, and we looked at each other, realized we were like, we were maybe going to win this thing. I remember looking at each other being like, "Oh my gosh." Like, we thought we barely made it to the finals, and then here we were standing about to maybe win, of course, ended up getting 2nd place, which we were so stoked about. But, like, I just remember that feeling of like, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe that we're here." And I think that was, I don't wanna say the first time I recognized, but just a really good reminder that audience vote and lovability, likability, like, connecting with the audience goes a long way, and like I said in the beginning, I think it's cool. I think it's cool that you have both. You have the audience vote that matters and the scores, and kinda seeing where it leaves people off at the end.
Yeah, I think Alona has that power of really connecting with an audience. She's so authentically herself.
Yeah.
Like I get who she is. I've never met her, but I know exactly who Alona is. And I know if I met her in person, she would 100% be the person I see on TV or in social media.
Yes, you are so right, and I think it's so cool. I also wanna give her credit that, like, it's been so cool to see her grow. Like, she really has gained a lot of confidence in her dancing ability, and that's been really cool to see. And then, obviously, people love her. So I fully agree, and I can attest to that. She is the same person on TV as she is in real life, and it's been really fun to get to know her that way.
Well, the other superstar I'd like to mention is your daughter, Sage, who I don't know. She's just literally popped off and she loves the camera. I think June seems a little bit more shy, although I feel like she's starting to warm up.
She is. I feel like June, it's so fun, their personalities are so different, and I feel like Sage is the one who can actually control a phone and sit there and talk and knows how to do the things, but I feel like June somehow has even more personality, so we're gonna see how that goes. She's our little Spitfire child, and it is so fun. It's so fun seeing them have their very own different personalities. I mean, I always knew they would, but it's really crazy to see it happening right before my eyes.
Yeah, and their bond is very sweet to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, they adore each other and they seem very close,
They
which is
are.
so great because I know you and your sisters are so close.
I know. I'm like, I can't really, I'm trying to like instill in them, like, guys, your sister's your best friend. Like, they're the ones who are going to last forever. So stick with it. But I feel like I don't even have to guide that. They just are obsessed with each other. And it's the best thing ever to see.
Now, I know you've been bringing Sage to the studio for the past couple of seasons. How is she warming up to the environment? I think I saw her last season, and everyone, it's like a scene of chaos. And the only one looking at my camera is Sage. And she's like, And I wasn't even taking her picture. She just happened to be in the scene.
I love it.
So
I
I feel
love
like
it.
she fits in.
She really does. I'm so lucky because everybody there is like my family and they treat Sage so well. They welcome her, they love her, they interact with her, play with her, help her feel comfortable. I remember last season, the very first show that I brought her to, she was a little bit like, what is this? But it was so cool because literally immediately all of my friends just loved her, loved on her, made her feel at home, and it's been so cool. Now it's like it's her house and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm here." So she's very comfortable now, but it's been so special for me to bring her back. I brought June a bunch last season when she was a baby and I could hold her, but this time around she would literally run on stage. So we're going to have to wait for her to get a little bit more older and a little calmer, but it's been so fun to bring them into the ballroom.
Well, I'm curious because I don't think people realize you don't just like randomly show up a few minutes before 5 o'clock and go and watch the show. It's a long, you have to arrive early, get your seat, get settled in. For someone like Sage, how do you make sure, because I know there's craft services, but how do you make sure that she is eating the right snacks? Like, what are you packing for her? Because I know for me, I'm like, I'm starving by the time I get out at 7 p.m.
I know, I feel you. Okay, one thing that is so funny about my girl Sage, June is showing this trait as well. If you know me, if you ask any one of the dancers on the show, it's that I need my food. Like, I don't function unless I've had all my snacks and treats and food. I am grumpy, I get hangry, and my girls are the epitome of that. So whether it's flying on a plane, sitting at Dancing with the Stars all night, when I pick Sage up from school, like I've got to be ready with snacks. And that's just kind of something that I know I need to have, whether that's like fruit, veggie sticks, some crackers. My daughter, both of my daughter's favorites is Juicy Juice 100% juice. Like they see those and they're like, "Ah." And I love that it's something that I feel really good about giving them. So truly, I have those on hand at all time. I have them in my car in my little glove compartment box. I bring them on the airplane with me. They are at Dancing with the Stars, and that's just something that has been really helpful in keeping my girls happy and also just like making it through the day sometimes, but also doing it in a way that feels healthy and good and smart, a smart choice as a mom.
Well, I feel like Sage and probably now June too, because I feel like they're both fashionistas, are probably tucking it into their little purse.
Oh yeah. Sage has got, let me just walk you through Sage's first. I need to do, you know, those like viral, like what's in my bag? Like Sage needs to do that. And this is 100% what would be in it. For sure, one of my lip glosses, because she steals those
Make
every
them up.
single day. Yeah, make muck, my make muck. So she would have one of those. She'd have a Juicy Juice 100% juice in there, just stuffed in. She'd probably have like a random Elsa glove, because she's always got to have one of those on hand. And she'd have her little tiny, she has like this little pretend camera that she loves to take pictures with. So that would be Sage's what's in my bag.
I love it. I was like, that sounds much better than my bag.
I know my bag is pointless. Honestly, though, my bag is that. It's just refills for my daughters. Juicy Juice 100% juice, extra lip gloss, wipes, diapers. Like that's my bag. Nothing exciting.
Full mom life.
Yeah.
I know you've been working hard on the movement club, and
Yeah.
I also love that you sort of share recipes. Like, how is teaching your daughter about daughters about great nutrition so important to you? Because it's so easy to just be like, here's the candy here. It's easy to give those fast snacks.
100%. I feel like what drives me and what I really try to drive home with my daughters is fueling their body so that they can feel good and do the things they love to do. I never want my daughters to feel like movement or eating healthy or anything is about a certain way to look or anything like that. It's more about being able to do what makes them feel good. I have taken care of my body my entire life, mostly because I had this passion for dance. Then dance became my profession. And now I want to be the healthiest I can to be a good mom for my daughters and to be around for a really long time. Sage just started dancing. She loves gymnastics. June is such an active little girl. And I just always want to remind them and like really hone in on the fact that like we move our bodies because we can, because we love to, because it feels good. And we fuel our bodies with things that are good so that we can do all the things that we love to do. So they're still really young, but I do feel like it's been very helpful for them to see mom doing that for themselves. Like I've learned that as a mother, the best way to teach is by example. So inviting them into my movement club workouts, eating meals together, seeing how we can take care of ourselves in that way together has been probably the biggest way I've been able to teach them so far.
To ask because, with Sage loving the camera, you've got the Arnold sisters. Has anyone approached you guys to do a reality show yet? And are you open to that?
You know what? We actually have had conversations before. We are open to it. To be completely honest, I'm not sure that we have enough drama for a reality show. I don't think we're very I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I've gotten. We have had talks about it. We have had interviews. We have sat down to chat about things like that. And we definitely are interested. We're already sharing so much of our lives on social media. It's not like we would be like, oh, we don't want to do that. But I do think there is an element of, unfortunately, with reality TV, people like to see that aspect. And I'm just not sure if we've given enough of that lately, which we never would. So that's the thing. We're also not the kind of people to ever be untrue to ourselves, but you never know. I think it would be so cool, and we are definitely open to it.
I love it. Is there any show you would ever join?
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so glad you asked this. I want to be on
Okay.
Special Forces so bad. Like so bad. Like I don't know how to petition myself for it. Like maybe this is it now. I've watched the show since season 1. Immediately was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to do this." Like I just think the challenge is so cool. I think the aspect of it is incredible, and I personally love to push myself physically. Like that's just something I've always loved to do. I don't know if it's dance, I don't know if it's just me, but I just think it would be such a fun show to be on. So that would be a show that I would definitely say yes to immediately.
I think you could. Doesn't Dina Katz
I
cast
know.
that?
I need
Have
to
you
have this
whispered to
conversation.
her yet? I mean, or we'll shout this
I
out.
need to send in like a reel like of me like doing all the like daredevil things and be like, I can do it.
And it completely fits into your wheelhouse of like nutrition and fitness and
I
dance
know.
and
I know.
empowerment.
I would love it so much. It would be so fun. Like that's like my goal. I'm like, I want to be on that show.
All
I
right.
don't
I think
know.
at the finale, you're going to the finale, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. I think you need to show up and just like go, hey, Dina, like,
I'll be like,
by the
watch
way,
this. Do some cool tricks. That they
watch
even
my
do tricks. Yeah.
pull-ups.
Look at me. I'm really strong. I got this.
Or maybe that's the next pivot on your TikTok account. You're like, I'm training
Yes.
like a special forces contestant would.
There you go. I like it, Kristen. You're with me.
Thinking for you.
I love it.
All right. I know you've won the Mirrorball Trophy. One final question. Is there anything you feel like you have left to accomplish on Dancing with the Stars that you haven't done yet?
Oh, you know what? That's interesting. I wouldn't say that I feel like, oh, I haven't done this yet. I feel like I got such an incredible run on the show. Like I will never ever forget all the things that I got to do, got to win, got to experience so many. I think what's really fun is yes, I only won one time, but I got to be in the finals. I think it was like 5 times, which is so fun. Like, those are my fondest memories. Even without the win, the freestyle moment is just one of the coolest things ever. So no, I don't feel like there's this like, "Oh, I didn't get to do that." The only thing that I think would be cool and something that I didn't even think was possible was getting to compete alongside my baby sister. Like, that's a pretty cool thing. So I will say, like, that's something that, like, I feel like, "Oh, that would be such a cool thing to do." Now, obviously, we got to do Dancing with the Stars juniors together, and that was one of my favorite experiences in my career on Dancing with the Stars, so would be really cool to kind of rekindle that in a different way.
All right. We'll throw that out there as well.
Love it. I love it.
Lindsay, so great to see you and catch up with you. It's always such a pleasure, honestly.
You too, is so good to chat. I hope everything's going well, and are you gonna be at the finale? Will I see you there?
I'm going to try and grab a ticket for the finale.
I
Fingers
love it.
crossed.
Okay,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see each other.
All right. Sounds good.